Alright, Wednesday the 13th of June, and we are back at the Toronto airport, and we're on our way to Calgary today, again. So I'm hoping to get out of here before, supposed to be some thunder and lightning this afternoon, so I'm hoping we'll get out of here before that happens. I don't want to get a flight delay. Busy in the airport today, packed in the parking garage. Took me about a half an hour even to find a spot, so and we'll be happy to be on our way and back to Calgary, and we'll take a bit more video when we get there. Alright, Saturday, June 16th, and just after 11 a.m. and back out in the garage today. Absolutely beautiful day outside. Back from my trip out west again, and was lucky to have met up with Sean again. We had a nice dinner, and Sean gave me some bits and bobs from his TR250 that he left over, including bought a really nice set of driving lights from him, so we'll put those to good use once we get to that point on this car, and hopefully that will be sooner than later. Anyway, today's objective out here, I've got a couple of hours before I've got to head off to my sister's for dinner. Parents are there tonight, so I'll be celebrating Father's Day a day early, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that. But today we're going to break out the new riv nut tool, and we are going to put some riv nuts in the inside of the B-post where the fender bolts up, the fender flange bolts up. I've already drilled the holes there where they should go, so we're going to remove the fender and we're going to install the riv nuts, and I will show you how that's done for anybody who's not seen that done before. Alright, the first thing I need to do is to fill up a whole bunch of small holes where the previous owner had used sheet metal screws to secure that fender flange to the B-post, and you can see a bunch of them along here. These are the holes they drilled for the riv nuts where the nuts should be. There's one here, and actually one down here. Now the larger holes that you see are for where I attach the wooden bucks for the rotisserie, so we'll leave those temporarily until I get the bottom of the car painted, and then we'll weld those up. But anyway, we really want to just fill up the holes that are not required. So I've got the compressor charged up, and we've got the die grinder out. We're just going to clean this face up, and we're going to throw some weld in there, smooth that off, and then we'll proceed to drilling the holes a little bit bigger for the riv nuts. So the threaded insert tool comes with a couple of different adapters for the size of rivet nut that you're going to use. This is the M6, so the metric 6, and it'll just thread right back on here. Okay. If you wanted to go, I've got an M8 fitting, which is larger, obviously, for the larger ones, and then I'll go down to an M4, and then I think I have a 1/4 inch actually, M5 actually. So anyway, we've got the appropriate tip on there, so what you want to do after that is thread on your rivet nut onto the end, like so. Just a quick note, the actual adapters are reverse thread, so don't try to thread them in normally. Anyway, I've drilled the appropriate sized hole. All you do is put the nut in and then squeeze on the trigger, and then remove the tool, and Bob's your uncle. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to need 2 hands, so I've got to put you down. Alright, there's the finished product with the insert, the threaded insert in there, and I've just put the M6 hex bolt in there, just with a washer and lock washer, and it threads in there quite nicely. So no more metal screws, or wood screws, or lag bolts, or whatever he had in there. So anyway, that looks a lot better. So we got to do the last one, which is this down here. So we'll get ahead and do that now. Okay, so I've got the 3 riv nuts installed, and we'll go ahead and install the fender back on and see how we did. Alright, I'm much happier with that. So yeah, those worked out really well. It's nice and secure. I just need to work on the still haven't welded in this end cap, which we've got to do, and I need to work on the fastener position on the bottom to pull this fender in like that. So we're going to probably work on that bottom fastener position now. Alright guys, Sunday, June 17th, just coming up to 11:30 in the morning. Happy Father's Day to my father and to all the fathers out there. So I celebrated yesterday with my dad and my mom at my sister's place, and I had a fantastic dinner and evening. So that was nice, but today we're back on the TR250, and I sort of left off yesterday working on those B-post fasteners, and I did manage to fit the fastener on the bottom of the fender that attaches to the sill. So we've got a little bit more welding repairs, just a few more holes to sort of plug up on this fender. So we're going to take that fender off and fix what we need to fix. And then I think we can pretty much call this fender done. So we'll do that and we'll move on to the next little project. We still have to do the inserts for the passenger side, so we'll probably do that next. Alright, haven't been taking a lot of video today because this would be really boring video to watch, so I've just been sort of plugging away at some small little issues. For example, these holes here for the trim strips had wallowed out or rusted out and they were oversized, so I just filled them back in with some weld and drilled them back out. I'm just about to fill in these holes here, which would normally be for snaps for the soft top, but since we're going with a Surrey top, are not required, so we're going to fill those in with some weld. I managed to finally get the plug for the end of the sill welded in place, as well as the area. This is a relief cut for the seat belt anchor. There's a little piece I welded in there as well to finish that area off, so that looks good. Did some grinding here and there, worked on the fender a little bit more. So anyway, we're out here working, but just doing small little fiddly jobs. So like I said, nothing of much interest to watch. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fill these holes up on both sides and get rid of those, grind them down. Hottest day in the garage so far. It's about 90 out here and very humid, so not the most pleasant day to be working out in the garage and welding, but we're out here doing it and we're happy to be out here, so can't complain. Alright, just coming up to 6 p.m, still tinkering away, and I think what we're going to do next is we're going to break out the wire wheel on my little die grinder, and we are going to just grind out all the old Bondo to get this panel prepped for some new filler. So I've got lots of areas where I need to dig that out. Some brazing in here. Obviously some pretty deep areas in here that I need to sort of dig out. I want to start fresh, so we're going to get all that old material out. So we'll crank up the compressor and we'll do a little cleanup of all this old Bondo. Monday 18th of June at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we are at the airport again. I don't know if you can see the screen or not. This trip is to Miami. So we're there for the week. Be home by the weekend. Get back out in the garage. We hope. Well, good morning from Miami. And the view out my room. Sun's just coming up. About 6:45 in the a.m. And just getting ready for work. Heading in at 7. Thought I'd give you a quick view out the window this morning. Gonna be a hot day, and that pool is looking awfully inviting for after work. About 14 hours from now. Alright guys, Sunday, June 24th, just coming up to 1:30 in the afternoon. Back from Miami, where it was 95 Fahrenheit and humid, to 68 degrees Fahrenheit here and rainy. So a bit of a change in the weather. Happy to be home. I'm not a big fan of traveling anymore, and I would rather probably just stay home. I don't want to whine about it, but traveling takes a bit out of me nowadays. It's you know, not sleeping well in hotel rooms and doing long days at work. It's not a good combination. So when I get home, usually it takes me a few days to get caught back up on sleep and to decompress. So today is the day that we are out here in the garage finally to start working back on the TR250. Maybe not so much start work, but maybe start organizing to get back to work. As I mentioned, it takes a little bit of time for me to get back into the project after I've been away from it for a week or two. And as you know, based on the frequency of my videos, I haven't been around much lately. I think I've traveled 5 of the last 6 weeks, and unfortunately that doesn't look like it's really going to be slowing down for the next little while, so I'll have to make the time when I can to be out here. So what we're going to do today is we sort of left off at starting to talk about wanting to do some body work on this rear fender. I still haven't got the body tub media blasted. I was hoping to maybe do that yesterday, but that didn't work out based on the weather, because the weather yesterday was colder than this and as rainy as today. And obviously if I'm media blasting a car, I can't really transport it on an open trailer if it's raining out, because it'll be a pile of rust before it gets back to the garage. But anyway, what I did on the last little piece of video is I sort of started cleaning out those old repairs out of the of all the old Bondo that was in the crevices. And while I did that, I came across a couple of areas that need some more attention, like this area here, where I was wire brushing and basically wire brushed some filler that was over some holes. So we'll need to repair that before we go much further. I've got another little area of concern down here. I think I've got a little bit of a hole down here as well. So we'll have to pop this fender off and do a few more welding repairs before we get into the bodywork stage here, because we don't want to do Bondo and then have that melted out by the heat from the MIG welding. So unfortunately we've got like I said, a bit more welding to do and a bit more repairs on this fender before we get to bodywork. However, my thought for today was to come out here and at least gather up all of my body working materials, all of my sanding blocks, my tools, my sandpapers, my fillers, my spreaders, that kind of thing, which are kind of hiding over there in that white bin or white cabinet and full of dust. I haven't touched those in quite some time, so they all need to be sort of gone through and cleaned up and reorganized. So I think that's what I'm going to do today. That's the plan for today anyway, is to just get all that stuff done. So those tools for body working are more at hand when I come out to the car, more readily available. Let's say I won't have to spend time looking for them or cleaning them up before use. So it makes it a little easier for me to be out here after work when I have sort of limited time. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to set up the table over here, I think, against this wall, and we will bring out all of our body working materials and just get them organized. That will be the chore for today. I don't know if we'll do any actual work today, but we'll at least get ready to make some progress on the car. That's it for now. Alright, we spent a couple hours and we've got out what we think we're going to need for our bodywork sessions, and we've got all our air and electric tools here. Got lots of DA sanders, 6-inch and 4-inch sanders. I've got hook loop ones, and I've got sticky back ones. Got straight line sanders and angle grinders and flat discs, etc. We've got all our body fillers, our short strand fiberglass and our regular body filler. We've got some polyester putty there. Got our hardeners all set up. We've got some lacquer thinner for cleaning our guns. We've got some acetone for cleaning up our Bondos. We've got lots of grease and wax removers, silicone removers. We've got a guide coat for when we do some sanding. I like to also use rubbing alcohol when I do cleaning of my panels along with Windex. So usually my final clean is with the rubbing alcohol before I go and do my body work. We've got an old cutting board that I use for my mixing board for my Bondos. And I've got my my kit all set up here with my Bondo spreaders. I've gone through each of the spreaders, made sure they were clean, make sure they didn't have any old leftover Bondo on them that would chip off and get into my newly mixed Bondo, you know, stir sticks, more spreaders. I sort of use these to actually do my mixing from the can. I like that better. Some odds and ends over here. Some these are for when I go and do my wet sanding. These just little rubber squeegees basically for that. And then down here we've got all our grits of sanding papers ready to go. And then down here we've got our selection of sanding blocks in here. So long blocks, short blocks, flexible, round if required. So a bunch of different types there that will get the job done. So we're all organized and ready to go. So the next step will actually be pop open the tops of those cans and start spreading. Alright, just after 5 p.m. we've got the ball game on out in the garage. I figure we'll work out here for a little while, be productive. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and repair this area here that I mentioned before. So we'll cut out a little square area and put some new metal in there. Hopefully this doesn't turn out to be some sort of nightmare for us, so we will see shortly when we start the repair. We've got the cutting wheel standing by, so we'll fire it up and cut out some suspect metal. Okay, so we removed that top layer of metal, and of course it's a layer of metal over another layer of metal. So I believe this is the existing fender below it, and as you can see it's pretty darn rusty. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to expand this patch out now in order to be able to get rid of all the rust that's behind here. So we're going to make this a much bigger piece now. We'll probably bring it out to the sides here at least, maybe over here, and we'll see what we got a little bit lower down. Maybe we'll cut it where it was originally welded and we'll redo this entire patch section here. Alright, we've got a much bigger piece cut out now, and you can see the extent of the rust in there. Again, it's just metal sandwiched with rust in the middle. So yeah, good idea that I changed this out. Not quite sure what, looks like he's got some rod or something in here. You see that? I'm not sure exactly what he's done here or what they've done. On the previous repair, this looks a little suspect. Anyway, we'll get some new sheet metal out and we will replace that area. Hopefully we'll be able to contour it properly to get it fitting in there nicely. So we'll work on that now. Alright, we managed to hand fashion a patch for that area, and we've just used an old piece of exhaust tubing to bend that over. So it's got a bit of a bend to her. Anyway, it seems to fit not too bad, so I think what we'll do is we'll tack that in carefully and probably do a little hammer and dolly work as we go, but I think it's going to fit in there okay. I probably want it to be a little lower, obviously, than higher. I can always throw a little skim coat of filler on it, so we definitely want to make it higher or prouder than the surface metal. So we'll see how good we can get it. Alright, we've got the new patch welded in, so we'll break out the grinder and we'll smooth this down and see how we did, but I think it's looking not too bad. Can't be any worse than the patch that was in there, so we'll go with that. Alright guys, the patch is successfully in and ground down. We're going to call that done. Definitely a lot more solid than what was there, so we're happy with that. So we'll move on to the next repair section, which will be that front part down here. But in order to get to that, we're going to have to take the fender off, so that will probably be my project for tomorrow night. So until then, we will see you later.